Do you only use your coordinating dies for cutting? What if I told you they could do so much more? Today I'm sharing 2 creative ways to use your coordinating die sets, and I promise they're not what you expect. First technique is a really fun one. We're going to be creating an impression using the die. But first, we've got to create the pattern. Now this is a layering stencil set, so I have to build the pattern so that I know where to put the die to create the impression. This specific die is what they call a zero waste die. So what that means is that you can create a quick background pattern, run it through a die cutting machine with this die, and you've got multiple images that you can use to create a pattern or use on multiple cards, and there's zero waste. So lots of beautiful flowers, and this one here also has some really sweet bees and some leaves, so they are really pretty to use individually, but I actually like the pattern that this stencil makes just on its own. And one of the great things about this particular stencil is that you can just layer it up in the corner. Each layer is exactly matching, so I don't really have to take too much time to line it up. I can just tuck my piece of cardstock into the corner of my stamp wheel and then just keep working through the layers. I am adding a little bit of shading for some dimension as I go, but that's totally optional. This particular technique, you do not have to have a zero waste die to do this. This also works with cover dies or even some image dies. You can use them. I've done it where I've used multiple like leaf dies and spread them out on a piece of cardstock and run them through the die cutting machine. I'll show you how to very shortly, and created an impression that way. So you don't have to have a zero waste die to do this, but it is an option to use this die in a different way. And I did use my black marker here, like a fine liner pen, just to fix my little body on the bee wasn't quite to the edge, so that's an easy fix. I also sometimes come in with pencils, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And I've got a bonus technique coming up, so stick around. I'm going to show you how to line up die cuts perfectly every time. Now I did my colouring and everything onto some white cardstock here, but I was thinking this would look really pretty on a really light coloured cardstock background as well. Right, so here's the zero waste die. I just line it up. I didn't actually do the full 6x6. It is a large stencil, but I knew I only wanted to cover a card front here. So I line it up like I normally would, like I'm going to cut it. And I'm using some low-tack tape to hold it in place. And because this is a large die, I'm making sure not to have too much cardstock hanging over the edge because I want it to fit in the 6-inch machine. Now I'm going to be using the embossing sandwich. Every die cutting machine is different, but they usually come with instructions. But to create an impression, one thing you will need is a silicone mat. This particular machine comes with the mat. Some of them you do have to purchase it separately, but it's something that can be done with most die cutting machines. And just follow the sandwich that they tell you, but basically what it's doing, instead of cutting with the die is leaving an impression in the paper. So it's going to give some subtle dimension without a huge amount of bulk. So it's going to be a post-friendly idea. Now I did have a little bit of cracking that can happen sometimes, and I'm going to show you how I fixed that. And what I did was come in with some of the previous coloured ink, relayed the stencil over top, and I also came in with a pencil after this had dried a little bit. Just chose a colour that was very similar to the greens that were there, and that covered most of that cracking. I could have also cut the panel down further. One thing I wouldn't recommend though is to use a rectangle die or something to cut your panel down, because running it through the die cutting machine again is going to flatten that embossing. You will need to add a lot of tape. I like to, and I've got lots of dimension or embossing. I always like to add a lot of tape to make sure that it has a good hold on the front of the card. I did a couple of sentiments for this card. I did a heat embossed sub-sentiment, but I also used one of my favorite sets. It's a large die set, alphabet die set, and it's so cute. It's one of the originals. It's called bold alphabet die, and I thought that really stood out beautifully on this fairly clean and simple busy card. Okay, the second technique that I'm going to share with you today is to create a shaker. It's one of my favorite things to do, but it's very easy to do with an image die. So this particular set has a jar in it, and I'm just using the outline coordinating die for the jar to die cut the window on that's going to go on the front of the card for the shaker element. I also want to add the top of the jar, and I'm not actually stamping the outside of it, so I'm just wiping away that ink with my finger just to make sure that when I stamp and cut it out, I won't have to try and cover up that bit of ink, and I won't have to fussy cut right to the edge. This has some layering colours to stamp it with, but you could also colour it by hand if you prefer. I did cut it out with the coordinating die yet again, but because it doesn't cut the lid out separately, I did have to come in and fussy cut around that bottom portion of the jar lid. And before we can get to the shaker portion, we still got to make all the elements that we need. And I thought it'd be really fun to make a honeycomb background to sit in the back of my jar. I did think about doing like a square of honeycomb. I thought that would look really funky, and then you could shake that. I, in the end, went with just the whole background because I didn't want to cut it up. I did reverse my embossing folder. Did you know that if you flip your embossing folder over, you're going to get either the raised finish or the debossed finish, depending on the look you want? You can use either side. I wanted the honeycomb to be sort of sitting up, and then I took it a step further and added some of the relief shimmer paste. This is a really pretty gold. It's very shiny. But one thing you do need to know with any of the pastes is they take a little bit of time to dry. So make sure that you set it aside to dry, because we're going to be adding shaker elements and I don't want them to be sticking to this. And I do seal my jar with some cling film and before I screw the lid back on, just to make sure it doesn't dry out. I haven't had any problems since I've started doing that. Okay, so here I did promise you a bonus tip today, and we're going to be lining. I'm going to show you how to line up your die exactly. So I want to create these 3 Bs. I thought it was easier just to use a larger piece of paper, cut them all out at once. Don't worry, I'm not going to waste the rest of the paper because I'm going to use that cardstock to create little templates. It's very difficult, I thought, to make sure that I was going to line these Bs up perfectly. So to create my templates, I'm just recutting out these specific images, and don't worry, I'm going to use those to add to the back of my Bs in a moment. But I can cut around the section of the die cut, line it up over my image, and then use some tape to hold that little template in place. Then I can just pop it back into the die, and you can kind of feel it click in almost like a jigsaw puzzle piece. And then I'll add a couple more pieces of tape. I want to make sure this isn't going to shift when I run it through the machine. So I did that for all 3 Bs here, and One thing you can do is actually keep these little templates and keep them in the packet if you want, if you didn't want to go through the process of doing it again. But I typically will need to cut out a couple because I like dimensions. So I'm always going to pop stuff up, and that means I like to add a second layer to all my images. So I always die cut a couple anyway. There's also this honey dipper that comes in the set, so I find if I'm going to make one, I might as well stamp out two. And that's one thing I really like about the stamp wheel, is that you can just flip the whole lid around and stamp it a second time without having to realign all the layering stamps. And I can use both sides of my plate. That way I can keep the outline image on the outside of the plate. It looks a bit weird, I know, but I can restamp it if I need to. We're on to the fun bit now. We're going to get to the shaker card, and we've used the coordinating die to make the jar image. But I always like to add my acetate first because I always forget to do this bit otherwise. And I'm using a thicker foam tape here. It's double the width, so it just makes it really easy. I only need to put one layer. If you don't have the thicker foam tape, just add 2 layers of foam tape. It just depends on what elements you're going to put in your shaker well. Sometimes I've had to add 3 layers, but you know, you do what you have to. Make sure that you don't leave any gaps between the edges of the foam tape. And this is where I like to add my shaker elements. And I've got some beautiful gold sequins here. I thought the hexagon shape worked really well with the honeycomb theme. And I did cut down my panel because I'm going to add it directly to the back of my shaker before I flip it over. One thing to be aware of is not to bump it. I've done this before, and you end up with your shaker bits sticking to the top of your foam tape, and then it won't seal. And then I just assembled all of my pieces that I've been working on. It's really nice to be able to use coordinating dies to create a shaker well, and it doesn't have to be a jar. Now, I think a jar works really well as a shaker card, but there are so many images that you can use if you've got a coordinating die and just make them into a shaker. And you can actually stamp the image in the background before you die cut it. I just wanted to use that golden honeycomb today. All together now, we've got our first card where we used the coordinating die to create an impression. We used one of the silicone mats to run it through our die cutting machine. And here's our second card where we used the coordinating die to create a shaker jar. Let me know in the comments below if you have a favourite card today, or if you're going to try either of these techniques. And I've got 2 more videos here sharing some more die cutting techniques, and look forward to seeing you there. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to click on the thumbs up button, and if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's totally free. I look forward to seeing you back here again real soon. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.